30 minutes of friends talk about everything that matters to women. Welcome to the lounge.
When it comes to cafes, I mean, we've seen so many people do actually attend to certain places that becomes really crowded. So one of the things that I tend to do, which I recently did, is I remember we were standing in the line trying to order the coffee, and I started to see as long as we go through the way that the places that are empty are being occupied with people. So what I started to do is I just took off my bag and I kept it on the table, claiming that this table belongs to us. So therefore no one could actually go there. And I remember that we ordered, and it took us for a while, like almost 10 minutes, and my bag was left there. And my cousin thought that I was just, let's say, joking about it, until we went back to sit on the table, and she was like, are you serious? Like, it took us 10 minutes. And I was like, yeah, because it's really crowded. So therefore I kept my bag, claiming that this table is for us, so we can enjoy the time there. Having that said, I'm very sure it's very important to enjoy your coffee in your very great spot. But the thing is, would you do that? Like, would you actually reserve a spot for you to go back again with the coffee?
Oh yes, I'm notorious for that move. I will always put my bag in the table that I want, or my stuffed phone, whatever. I don't care if you're gonna, you know, take it away at this point, as long as I have the table, because so many times there would be so many tables available, and as soon as I get my coffee or my order, whatever it is, I go back and there's nowhere to sit, and I have to take my stuff and go to the car. So I've learned to always reserve my spot. And also, I also have a few cafes that no one knows about, and I make sure to gatekeep them. So only the friends that have been there for so long, if you're new, I'm not telling you, you know? So that's kind of my trick when it comes to cafes and finding a spot to sit, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you will never find me in such a crowded place, honestly, unless I was going to the mall and grabbing something. If I ever get in, then I'm definitely getting either my coffee, like, or of course, if I'm gonna be sitting in a place which is exactly a restaurant, I'm gonna definitely be seating myself first. But if it was a cafe, like, I'm definitely getting my coffee first.
Right.
If I find it busy, then I'm leaving with my coffee.
Regardless.
You're never gonna find me sitting there, because I really don't like the crowded places. And maybe before, I used to do that thing, probably when I was in my 20s, early 20s. But now you can never find me in such places. I'm grabbing my coffee, or it's either drive-through, and I'm leaving. I'm getting out of there as soon as possible.
Honestly, I'm heavy on that. I will run if it's
I'm just
busy.
feeling heavy right now talking about it. It's too much.
Sometimes, so I catch up with one of my friends once a week, and we go to the same spot every single week. The time we go, it's always empty. And me and her can talk for like 12 hours straight, which we actually did over the weekend, you know, from 2 p.m. till 2 a.m. till we noticed, wow, it's late. We need to, you know, I'll go back to my house, I guess. Anyway, but we go to the same spot. Whenever we get there, it's empty. So it's perfect. We don't have to look for a table. We don't have to do anything. But whenever we look up after like 2 or 3 hours of conversation, it is so busy. You cannot find like one tiny bit on the ground to step foot in.
That's always the case. That's always the case. You're sitting and the whole place is empty. Suddenly you're just seated, and 2 minutes later, there's everyone around and it's packed.
Exactly. And I think that's the reason why we don't run away. But I know if me and her got to the cafe and it's already busy, we are going to take a U-turn and probably go home.
I mean, I would immediately go to a very busy cafe.
I know, though.
I mean, I really love how very crowded the environment is, and how I could be very, I can make people feel uncomfortable standing next to their table, forcing them to actually feel uncomfortable so they could actually leave faster, and me taking the spot. I mean, I don't know what it is, but it was always a thing. If it's crowded, then I'm going. If it's not crowded, then I'll pass. I don't know why, but I feel happy when I see people and that kind of environment, you know, that busy sound, people talking, people being there. I have this issue because most of my friends reach to an age where they don't like really crowded places. So I end up going maybe alone, going with anyone who would like to actually go, who loves staying, let's say, in crowded places. One of the things that I faced with my husband is that kind of issue. He also reached to a point, I don't like people a lot. I don't want to be in a crowded place, and I feel very frustrated.
Right.
Because I'm very energetic. I still love staying there, watching people, let's say, enjoying the crowd in a way. I don't know, but I mean, it's really quite interesting in a way. But in the end, it's a preference for each individual. And having that said, how about we take this quick break? When it comes into going to restaurants, I notice a very, very important thing, which is, of course, the tables. When you're alone, or going with a friend or your husband, you don't feel very, let's say, difficult in choosing a place or a table. But when you're with your kids, this is where I started to notice that there are high tables. There are, let's say, the ones that comes with separate chairs, the ones with the long chair, and so many options that I've never noticed before. So it's very challenging to focus on that, and at the same time you're hungry, you want to get your food served, and you want to control everyone. So I remember I went to one of the fast food restaurants, and I took the meals, and my daughters picked the highest table with the highest chair. Like Talia was like being seated without anything to relax her back, and she was like the table was like this high, and she's like comfortable taking the fries and taking the burger as long as she's feeling like I'm sitting on that spot and chair. And I'm like, it's very difficult to adjust with that, but she's enjoying her time.
Right.
So having that said, a lot of people have their own preference. You know, sometimes you will go to a restaurant because of the very, let's say, great seated areas that they have, and then sometimes you stop going to a certain place because of that. So how do you feel about such, let's say, situation when it comes to seating in restaurants?
I honestly prefer, okay, you know how everyone is fighting for the couch at the restaurant? I am so happy. I'm like, take the couch. I'm a chair person. I don't like couches, especially if I'm eating, to be honest. I want to be sitting on a chair. I want to be comfortable. Sinking into a couch is not my thing, to be honest. So my friends love doing lunch and dinner with me because I'm always going for the option no one wants. With that comfort. But I must say, there's restaurants that I really avoid because the tables are so low. And I don't know how to eat like that. And honestly, if you know how to do that and you're comfortable with that, high five. I don't know how you do it. Like, I could never, to be honest. It's uncomfortable, not enjoying my food, not a fan of that at all. So I think I'd be your daughter and pick the highest seat, you know, just to make sure the counter is really high and it kind of works out.
I think it depends for me. It depends on the mood, honestly, because sometimes, especially when I'm alone, I really do like having the high seats for some reason. But only because there are certain kinds of like restaurants that I would go to. If it was like a sushi place, then I'm definitely trying out that feel of like, you know, the Japanese style. So I just honestly just go and have the high seats. So I could see literally everything going on, and especially when they're cooking. But most of the times I really do enjoy the low seats. I really do. I like to be like feel comfortable about it, but not that low. Not that low. Right. Because really, it really is be uncomfortable for me to actually eat. So yeah, definitely something medium, but not too low, not too high. Unless it depends like on the mood, like I said.
Definitely.
Like one of the most important thing for me is round tables. I don't like the let's say square ones or rectangle ones, like the long ones.
Yes, not
like I really want to be able to grab everything from each different dish. And in order for me to make sure that I'm gonna be able to do that is when it's a round table. It's like the sharing table, you know. I would only take that long table if I know anyone to share with me. Rather than that, round tables are very important.
Or the square ones, actually, they're not that bad.
I like them.
If they're like, you know, if they're medium size, not too big.
Like even the square ones, you know, sometimes like I don't know what's wrong. Like to me, the round one is more comfortable. It gives you that kind of vibe, like we're like all together. You know, the square one has this edges in a way, like
it's way more formal. I completely get it.
Though, you know why? Because sometimes when you sit, the most challenging thing is if you want to sit next to somebody, but you end up having them in front of you here, and you're being there, you feel like you're left out. But in a way, when it's surrounded, you don't feel like this person is sitting next to this person, but you feel like you're almost
Exactly.
next
All
to each
together,
other,
yeah.
Honestly, I've noticed with rectangle tables, me and my friends always end up sitting next to each other.
Yeah.
If it makes sense, especially if it's just
Yeah.
me and one friend.
Yeah.
And we just face each other and start talking and eating. And I feel like it's more comfortable. Whereas with round tables, I think the seating makes more sense.
But one of the things now you're discussing that, I had that kind of, let's say, situation where me and my friend were sitting next to each other, but it wasn't just in a restaurant, but it was in a restaurant that's in a mall. So the way you'll be seated, you'll be seeing people, and once you're talking, you start to notice these things. So I think even in these kind of situations, the environment of the restaurant could actually affect the way that you like to sit and how you prefer seating. So having that said, how about we take this quick break?
So most places have certain music, like different cafes, restaurants, I don't know, malls would have music in the background. Some of it is just like soft jazz music or whatever it is. Some of it is intense songs, and sometimes it gets annoying. I don't mind it in the background if it's super low and you really have to concentrate to hear it. But when it's too loud, especially if I'm alone, I'm putting my headphones in, noise cancellation, and I'm gonna listen to my music. So how do you feel about music in cafes and restaurants?
Well, to be honest, one of the most interesting thing is listening to a music, but sometimes you really get distracted. Like one of the things that I face, which is a challenging thing, is when I go to a certain store and I want to pick something, I end up listening to the music and I'm like, oh, I'll be like jamming and forgetting what I want. Even when it comes into restaurants, like if I listen or hear a music that I love, it would take me, let's say, minutes in order for me just to remember that I'm here for food. I need to order. I'll be forgetting. I'll be thinking like, they took my order, and then I notice.
Okay.
Like I didn't replace anything, is because I was listening to the music.
That's crazy, because I literally, it's very difficult to find a place like a restaurant or let's say a cafe that has really good music for me. It's a very difficult thing, especially when you have a lot of people who are around and you start to hear the noises plus the music. So it's like kind of distracting all over. For me, I prefer to put the noise cancellation, like you said, put my headphones. When I travel, that's when it actually happens. I'm always having my headphones on, and I really don't care. Like it says big, this big, and I'm walking around like shopping and doing my own stuff, and then sitting in a cafe. It's my own music. It's my own world. I like to experience that kind of feeling by myself, honestly, and then just cancel out everything that's around me.
Honestly, I completely agree with you.
I love it.
As soon as I step foot onto the plane, trust me, noise cancellation is on. If they are telling us there's a delay, I wouldn't even find out. I wouldn't even know, because something is blasting in my ears. That's what happened to me last time. But I feel really bad for whoever is sitting next to me, to be honest. I know it's loud to the extent where everyone can hear it, even if the headphones come with, that kind of noise cancellation for other people. But still, I know everyone can hear it. And same thing, I would walk around the country with my headphones in. I feel like because we do travel solo a lot, we kind of have that routine where we're able to disconnect from our surrounding, explore, shop, eat while we're listening to something. But I'm not gonna lie, there's a country I travel to very often to tan, chill by the pool, and one of my favorite hotels that I'm there every single day to enjoy the pool and the sun has the worst music ever. Like the worst, honestly. It's so bad to the extent that I'm really concentrating that it's so much heat, I'm not able to disconnect from the sun and the heat and just be able to enjoy my time. And I feel like 10 years ago, we just had the wired headphones. Like no water is ruining those.
That's true.
Right?
That's
Nothing ruins them. So before I would just, use them and it's fine. Even if I dip in the pool with them, it's cool.
True.
Now, like putting on my headphones means I'm not gonna have headphones for the rest of the trip with the water, honestly. So I feel like music is really important since it does set the mood, and hopefully restaurants and cafes start putting more effort into it, to be honest.
Yeah, like to be honest, like I've never been really in a place where I actually noticed that they have a very bad music. Or I have this thing is that I do ignore sometimes. Like if it's something I don't like, I have this maybe a blessing where I don't really need to even have a cancellation or anything. I just ignore it by myself.
I love that.
But the thing is, when it comes into wearing your headphones or even earpods, the thing is I have very difficult time to charge them, so they're always out of battery when it comes into that. So what I tend to do is I force people to listen. If I want to listen to a certain music, I wouldn't bother to wear, like, it will be in my phone, and it's loud, and it's in my bag,
of course.
so I will enjoy my time. And especially since now I'm back to work, I'm like signing and having my fingerprint in the morning. Everyone is listening that there is actually music. And it's like, free music. Just you like it, you like it. You don't like it, don't listen to it.
Not my problem. Yeah, don't listen to it.
So I'll be like forcing people to actually hear it.
That's crazy. I mean, see, the only thing that I would have that's charged actually besides my phone is going to be definitely my headphones. Definitely 100%, because I know I want to be listening to music, if not 24/7 hours a day. But with that, let's go take a quick break and we'll be right back.
When we go to cafes, especially for picking up our coffee, there's always this section where you get your straw, sugar, napkins, whatever it is. So now there's two types of people. People that will take just what they need, you know, one of each, and then people that would take 100 of each. And I'm still looking for the in-between person, to be honest. So I don't even have sugar in my drink, so I'm never grabbing anything. Usually it's just a straw, sometimes a sleeve if they offer that for my drink. Napkins I usually have in my bag, but let's say if I really need to, that's when I'll take it. But we all know that a lot of cafes are shifting from the normal plastic straws to paper straws.
I don't like that.
I hate that.
I don't
I
like
hate that. This, I am grabbing more than one.
Because why is it melting in my mouth?
Thank you.
Why?
That's why. Because I know in 10 minutes I'm gonna have to switch it out for a new one. So that I will take more, and I'll make it obvious that I'm taking more. I don't care, you know. But anything else, I feel like it's rude. Honestly, I don't like it.
Well, I mean, it feels like this is a mother situation. You know, mothers always do that in a way. And the thing is, it's not only when it comes into cafes, but even when you're in a restaurant, and then you know, you ask for the bill, and then all of a sudden, before bringing the bill, they will give you a number of wet napkins. So I mean, it's always extra. And one of the things that I've noticed with my friends is that we went, and because they became mothers, so once that was actually when we were over, and there were wet napkins left, I remember one of them took it all and she divided it on us, and I'm like, I don't need it. Like, I don't want it. It's just like, no, keep it in your bag. You never know, once you need it, you have a daughter, something can happen. I was like, I have my wet napkins with me. I don't need it.
Exactly.
So I mean, this is where the situation starts to appear, because they weren't mothers. They never did that, and once they became mothers, they started to do that.
Changed.
So I don't know, is it in the mother's DNA, or is it something associated to
honestly,
like,
if I did have kids with me, I will grab an extra spoon or 10, because they're gonna drop that spoon so many times, and I'm gonna have to keep running back and forth. So no, sorry, I'm with the mommies on this one. If we have kids with us,
I think things are going to be different, so different, because now when you're talking about it, you're single, you have nothing to worry about, and if you spill something, you know, you have an extra one in your bag. But if it's kids around you, it's going to be a different situation. You're going to be having 10 folds of more tissues, extra everything, because like you said, they're going to be spilling literally everything, and of course, not to mention the mess around their face. It's hectic. Like,
definitely.
I don't know how that feels like, but I kind of understand.
I mean,
it.
I
Seeing
always leave it, you know,
like, I can see it, so I understand like sort of the situation.
Like when my daughter actually messed something, like if it gets spilled on their clothes, or if it's left on their face, I'll be like, you know what, it's fine. Like, even if we run out of wet napkins, nothing is gonna happen. It's fine. They'd be like terrified, Mom, we damaged our pants. I was like, yeah, so it's gonna be, let's say take it to the laundry, or even when it comes into their hands, like immediately just wash it and that's it. I don't really panic when it comes into that, but I've seen my friends, they do really panic. Especially when it comes into the car with the leather and everything, they would take that extra wet napkin just to keep it for that kind of situation in the car.
Okay, I would worry about that.
Me too. I'm not worried about the car. I don't know, the seats being spoiled or ruined or whatever, but knowing in my head that there's liquid or food in the back seat would drive me insane. I wouldn't be able to do it. I was telling my friends over the weekend, okay, ladies, I don't cry easily. It takes a lot for me to shed a tear. And last week I was crying over such an issue, honestly. Like, something spilled, it was on my bed, and I started crying. hysterically, calling different companies to come clean my bed. And when they're like, we're not available now, I'm like, I want it now, you know?
Yeah.
So I noticed this is something that does push me over the edge.
Yeah, it triggers.
It triggers me
Yeah.
big time. And I will cry proudly about, especially if it's my beds, you know, or in my car or whatever.
Yeah.
So I will keep extra napkins in the car and wipes regardless if they're stolen or bought.
Yeah, sometimes it's not even the kids. Sometimes it's the adults sitting next to you.
Yeah.
And they're spilling stuff.
Exactly.
Sometimes they would smoke a cigarette, or sometimes the mom would spill something, and I'm like,
Exactly.
I'll just keep quiet and shut.
You know, that brings
I'm
me
not
to
allowed to talk
something.
about this.
I make sure whenever I'm in someone's car to leave with all my rubbish, to be honest.
Thank you.
And when someone doesn't take things that they have stuffed in the door handle or whatever, I will make a comment.
Bothers me.
Honestly, that's where I'm a bit like, Anyway, let's not get into details and take a quick break. I usually am very straightforward with my orders. There's one thing that I make sure is in none of my food. No onions, but also there's a longer list, I'm not gonna lie. No onions, no eggs, no chives.
Okay.
Probably no seafood either, okay? But if I'm ordering a burger, it's a big no for the onions. Everything else I can work with. I can remove. I know it's not, you know, gonna, I don't know, do something to the rest of the food. I just have beef with onions. And I always make sure it's not in my food. But you don't understand how annoying that could be for, you know, the waiter, the person serving you or helping you make the order, especially when it comes to coffee orders. With burgers, I feel like it's easy. If you have one thing you're getting rid of. But for example, I have recently got into matcha, which Hiba's already judging me about.
I was like really shocked. Matcha.
Especially that a few weeks ago on the show, I was judging people for drinking it. And I have become one of those crazy people that is like sugar-free vanilla, cold foam, I don't know what, coconut milk, this milk, that milk, I don't know. By the end of it, my receipt is this long.
Oh.
And I feel bad for the barista, to be completely honest with you ladies. So are you doing the same thing? Am I the problem?
It's very challenging, and yet it's a preference in the end. Like, let me tell you this. So one of the things that I face in life is when I ask my friends, I'm gonna order coffee, what do you want? And they'll be like sending me a list of what they want. And do you know what I do? I would just read the beginning. Like, I want, for instance, I want vanilla something. I would like, and she wants skim milk, things like that. I'll skip that.
Oh, really?
I'll just keep adding the vanilla. And if she needs a matcha, then I'll add sugar-free. I'm not gonna put sugar-free.
I actually respected your coffee order today. I actually
I'd be really sad if that happened.
No, I was ordering our coffee on the way to the show, and for some reason, it didn't give me the option to choose the milk she wanted. I'm like, it's fine. Even for 5 minutes late, I'm going down and ordering
that
coffee.
You know what I told her? I told her it's fine. If it's
and
not
like,
there,
no.
just add anything. She's like, no. I'm like, trust me, it's not gonna bother me.
Now I know.
And the reason why, the thing is, it's complicated, you know? Like, it's like, it takes time, and you want to finish the order, and they're so picky, and they want this and that, and you know that it's not gonna affect them in a way. I have one of my friends who is actually into almond milk or oat milk.
So bad.
And the thing is, because she's on a diet, and I told her it actually increased. It doesn't help you in your diet because it has the amount of fat in it is way higher than the skim milk.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just add skim milk.
That's not a problem. That's not a problem unless they're lactose intolerant.
They're not lactose intolerant.
See, if they're lactose, I'll be really sad because that thing really hurts my stomach to a point.
Trust me. Now, going back again.
Yeah,
lactose intolerance, I do understand, but the ones who are really into almonds, skim milk, things like that.
It's a bit, that's an exaggeration.
If I know the person, like if I don't know you and I know you that you're giving me a certain order, I would help you.
Okay.
But rather than that, and one of the things that I do is that one of my cousins doesn't like tomatoes when it comes to her burger.
Oh wow.
So what I tend to do is I never ask them to remove the tomato because it's actually, they're not gonna, sometimes, you know, they don't really remove it. And when the order is there, and she's like, there's tomato, I was like, oh, just take it off.
See, I'm fine doing that with tomatoes, but onions,
tomato at least,
But let me be honest, I'm too lazy to ask them to take anything.
At least now we know Hiba is the last one to order.
Yeah.
You know,
well, it kind of depends on what you're actually going for. I have a friend of mine who actually, honestly, is the worst kind of eater because they only have, like, let's say the burger or the chicken inside it, and there's literally nothing, no sauce, no cheese,
weird.
no onions, nothing. And I'm like, why are you even eating?
Yeah.
Just don't eat.
Don't.
Why are you doing that?
Why are you
It's like,
waiting?
it bothers me. So for me, I think the only thing that I don't like when it comes down to eating burgers or even the chicken fillets, that's definitely going to be pickle, because it ruins the taste for me. I don't know how
Right.
that feels
It's
like, but it
overpowering.
reminds me back when I was a child. And I remember going to the certain place or restaurants where they had the ketchup, the mustard, and then the pickles, and I'm like, what was I eating? So I used to literally skip that meal and go with the fries straight away.
Wow.
And then of course, you know, it comes with the kids meal, so you have the
Yeah.
toy. That's what I came here for.
I mean, I always feel like pickles and onion give a good taste together. Maybe
Onions are fine.
Maybe
Pickles.
your situation is not experiencing it with onions.
No, I do have the onions
Yeah,
one.
you
It's
don't.
just
I
that
mean, pickles and onions together.
no, the onions, sorry, is fine for me, but
But the pickles are no.
no, so no,
Okay,
definitely
okay.
a no.
Yeah.
But-
So yeah.
How about we go for a quick break right now?
So sometimes when you go to a restaurant and especially the ones with the fast food or even cafes, when you're done with the tray, you would immediately take it and just keep it in their own spot, you know, the ones that you're supposed to lay them down. So I've seen and noticed people who really, like in a way you don't feel it really aggressively, but you feel it also uncensored. They start looking at you in a way like why you're carrying it. So and I believe this is something we've been raised on, like when you're done, just take it to the right place. But the thing is, aside to it, especially if you're really into, let's say, Western culture and then going abroad, there is no one who's gonna carry the tray from the table and keep it. While here in Kuwait, we have, like, even in the restaurants, some employees are actually being there waiting for you to finish, and they're
So
gonna
that they could
carry
pick it up.
So one of the things that I think and I believe it's more of, let's say, a society and a culture thing, is that because of our country is providing such employees, or the restaurants providing such employees to carry it for you, it started to be something very strange in a way. And I believe this is the kind of issue why people start to look at you in a way, it's like, why are they carrying it? There are people made for it here, and so while when you're abroad, if you won't carry it, I mean, it's going to be something like
I find it really strange, honestly. I do really find it really strange to the point, like, you know, when you're, like you said, you're traveling abroad, you're studying abroad, living abroad, people are used to the idea of picking their stuff, like wherever you go, you pick your stuff and you put it in the right place where it's supposed to be, because you don't have the employees taking your stuff for you. So what you do is, it's a form of an etiquette to actually do such a thing, and it's a respectful way to do that. But here, like you said, I'm always getting the strange looks. I'm like, what's going on?
And they're not only giving strange looks, they're like bullying you in a way.
Yes.
Oh, like you're neat and clean.
You just hear a laugh
And I'm like,
when
oh
you're
my
walking
God.
across. It's just a laugh. I'm like,
No, it's so sad.
I'm still doing that. I'm still doing that.
Of course, it's unacceptable, to be honest. I had one of my friends, which was very toxic in that sense. Whenever I'm like taking the clothes out of the fitting room, taking the tray from the table back to where it's meant to be. Like, why are you doing that? That's someone's job. That's someone's, I don't know what. And I'm like, why are you in my business? You know, I'm going to do whatever I want to do. I'm going to be respectful to other people because that's how I was brought up.
Yes.
You can keep doing whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Just don't force me into it. The same way I'm not forcing you into my etiquette and like how I do things on a daily basis. But I don't know if you ladies agree with me. Those people are the same people that are very rude to waitresses or waiters or any kind of person that's a host or, you know, helping in public places or
100%.
restaurants. And anyway, the whole thing with what we're meant to do or not, we'll leave for another day, and let's just wrap it up for this evening.